Welcome to this new video on Gran Turismo 7, in which I'm going to show you a list of cars that simply have unique details or features in the game. In today's video, I'm going to show you about 15 of them. But if you know of other cars that have really unique features or details, feel free to put their name in the comments, along with a brief description of what makes them unique, not only to help other players discover them, but also maybe so that one day I can make a second episode of this video with the cars you mentioned in the comments. And while you're at it, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I make a lot of videos about Gran Turismo 7, but also because I love making this kind of video. So if you enjoy watching them, I think you'll really like the upcoming ones too. We're going to start with the Opel Corsa GSE, which was added to Gran Turismo 7 with one of the latest updates. This is a car that, overall, the community didn't really like because it's very unusual to drive. On the other hand, it's true that this is a car with a lot of pretty unique features. For example, when a car tries to overtake you, or at least when you're close to a car that's potentially in your blind spot, the car will alert you by lighting up on the dashboard to the left or right, depending on where the car that's going to overtake you is. A small red light acts as a proximity sensor, letting you know where the cars are behind you or around your vehicle without needing to look around with the camera or check the rearview mirror. Another nice feature. On the left side of the steering wheel, a small logo flashes on a red background. It's a logo with a kind of rocket, and it indicates that my car still has overtake charges left. The overtake feature is something I can activate on this car to get a little acceleration boost. I still have 2 overtake charges left. Look at the bottom right of the screen. And once we've used all the overtake charges on this car, then the little white rocket stays lit. However, the red background doesn't light up anymore. By the way, this car is one of the rare models in the game that has a heads-up display. It's not the only one, but it's probably the one where the system is the most advanced. With the display directly on the car's windshield, in interior view, you get a whole bunch of information. The speed, but also the lateral G-forces. You see, if I turn more or less to the right or left, the little bars on the sides will fill up to represent the lateral forces experienced by the vehicle. It's cool, though other cars have this feature too. In Citroën's lineup in Gran Turismo 7, you'll find the old Citroën DS. And as far as I know, it's the only car in this game that has a functional directional headlight system. That means the front lights will turn according to the direction of the wheels. Let me show you. Just look at the front of the car, at the headlights in the center. Turning left makes the headlights shift left, and turning right shifts them right. This feature isn't very useful in Gran Turismo 7's, but it's one of the very well-known features of the Citroën DS, because at the time, it was simply one of the first cars in the world to offer this system, and that's why the developers recreated it in the game. Next, we have the Audi Sport from '87. It's an incredible car. It's actually one of the best rally cars in the game. But it's also, as far as I know, the only car in Gran Turismo 7 that's originally equipped with a 5-cylinder engine. That's right. In 7, we don't have the Golf R, we don't have the Audi RS3, or even the TT-RS equipped with 5-cylinder engines. Even on the Ford side, we don't have the 5-cylinder Focus RS, nor on the Volvo side, the 5-cylinder Volvos. To my knowledge, it's the only one. Also, in Gran Turismo 7 there's a swap system, and you can take the 5-cylinder engine from this car and install it under the hood of a bunch of other cars. So, indeed, you can convert cars that are 4 or 6 cylinders into 5 cylinders. Still, originally, by default, it's really the only one. The only car in the game offered with a 5-cylinder engine. Some cars in the game still have slightly customizable interiors. Here's a small example, though it's not the only one. Really, this only applies to a few models, under 1% of cars in Gran Turismo 7's. The Aston Martin DB11 from 2016. Indeed, when you change the exterior paint of your car, it will adjust and offer an interior configuration that matches the exterior finish. For example, you can clearly see the interior is orange. Switching to another configuration may turn it white or gray. And by the way, since we're talking about the interior, you should know that in this game, the Tesla Model 3 will have an interior screen, a central screen, that will react to the color of the car you've chosen. You see, here I have a white Tesla Model 3. If I look at the interior of the car on the screen, it's white. And if I go get my other Tesla Model 3, which is blue this time, when I look at the interior, it will turn blue as well. Speaking of a somewhat futuristic interior, with some pretty cool features on the screens, there's a rather unique car in this game, the Sony Afeela, which has a little something that's kind of cool. So this car itself is a pretty strange project. It's an electric car that was actually developed by Sony in partnership with Honda before the project was, just a few weeks ago, completely cancelled. Still, at the time, Gran Turismo was trying to promote this Sony car, and they'd modeled it in incredible detail, especially regarding the interior screen, a unique game feature. That means when I brake with this car, the rear brake lights also light up on the car that's displayed on my dashboard. So it's a small quirky detail, but I think it's pretty unique in the game. In terms of cool interior features, on the Toyota Trueno, there are two little things that will happen when you're speeding. Starting at 100 km/h, you'll see a small yellow warning light come on the speedometer. And at 105 km/h, there's a little bell, a small sound alert that will ring in the background. It's quiet, but you can hear it. I'll let you listen. It's very discreet, but it's definitely there. And it's in the game simply because, back in the day, Toyota added these little things to this car to warn the driver that they were exceeding the speed limits. 100 km/h was the speed limit on the highway, and 105 was to warn the driver that they were already 5 km/h over the limit. Since we're talking about sound alerts, you should know that in the game, there are 3 cars that have a very specific way of letting you know that it's time to shift gears. Indeed, you'll find the Mazda RX-7 on which, when you reach high RPM, you'll hear an alarm that goes off continuously, a constant beep, telling you that you've reached the limit and it's time to shift gears. You'll also find some alerts that are a bit more visual and quite unique in their own way, like for example on the LFA. The LFA, look at the gauge cluster. When I'm driving normally, the gauge is white. When you reach the point where it's time to shift gears, it turns green. When you near the red line, it turns orange. In the red zone, it turns red. Dodge also added a visual touch on the 2013 Vipers. The closer you get to the red zone, so the higher the RPMs, the more visible the Viper logo becomes in the background of the dashboard. So now, I'll show you that with a little acceleration. At first, it's hard to see, but as the RPMs rise, it glows neon red. It's actually pretty cool. Another little unique detail that concerns the Suzuki Escudo. But not only that, it also applies to another model in the game, the 1932 Ford Roadster. These two cars, which have absolutely nothing in common, have nevertheless been affected by the same bug in Gran Turismo 7s. These cars were added to the game. They appeared once in the Legend Cars dealership, the dealership for, let's say, the rarest and most expensive cars. That's the only way to get them. Both of them were affected by a bug that made these two cars completely absent from the rotation of cars in the Legend Cars dealership. Cars in the Legend Cars dealership are usually available for a limited time, disappear, and return after several weeks or months. The Escudo and the 1932 Ford Roadster, we didn't see them for months. Simply because the devs made a small mistake, and they only appeared in the Legend Cars dealership once before coming back. So, technically, the Escudo and the 1932 Ford Roadster may be two of the rarest cars in Gran Turismo 7 since we had very few chances to buy them. As far as I know, maybe I'm wrong again. Feel free to tell me in the comments. The Bugatti VGT Group 1 you see here is one of the only, or probably the only car in the game to have an interior rear-view mirror instead of a speedometer. Personally, I find it absolutely horrible. It's super distracting. I have a hard time looking at the road ahead of me because I also see the road behind me. As far as I know, it's probably the only car with this feature. The Toyota ambulance called Emitic in the game also has a little feature, which is that when you press the horn button, so the horn key, normally there's no horn. Instead, a voice message comes out of the vehicle's speakers, an emergency message normally intended for citizens who hear this vehicle passing by, asking them to clear the way. I'll let you listen to it. Here you go. Pressing the button triggers it each time. The Porsche 911 GT3 RS 992, which is the latest generation, is also one of the only, if not the only car in the game at the time I'm making this video, to have the DRS system. Indeed, the car's aerodynamics can be changed while driving. However, it doesn't work in time trial mode. To use it, you absolutely have to play in normal race mode. What's cool is this car tells you when it's ready. Just check the gauge at the bottom left. If it says not ready, you can't use it. When it switches to ready, usually when you accelerate, you can activate it. I don't know what just happened there. It's also shown on the game interface at the bottom, right near the speedometer. The icon flashes white when it's available to use. To use it, you also need to make sure you haven't installed Nitro on your car, because if you have Nitro installed, by default, the DRS activation button will prefer to use the Nitro. So it's a bit annoying, but actually when you're on a straight and you activate the DRS, you'll see the car's wing tilt slightly to let more air through, which improves its acceleration, and it really keeps the car planted. You see, if I activate or deactivate it, the rear of the car will slightly rise or lower, simply because when the DRS is deactivated, there's more downforce and the car is more planted to the ground. so it has an effect both on the driving and on the visual aspect of the car. There's also a little Easter egg, or a little nod, call it what you want, on the BMW M3 E36. On all the cars in this game, the temperature gauge is in the middle, which means the car is at normal operating temperature. On this M3 E36, and as far as I know, once again, it's the only car that has this. The temperature gauge is just a little above the halfway mark, just to show that there's a bit of overheating starting to happen here. It's visible on the dial at the far right of the dashboard, in the steering wheel gap. The needle that shows the temperature is clearly above the halfway mark. It's a little nod to the fact that back in the day, these 3 series, not necessarily the M versions, but the E36 versions of the 3 series, were known for often having overheating problems. It's pretty cool. The Porsche 208 Spyder is also, as far as I know, one of the only cars in the game that features a 4-wheel steering system. Actually, you can see it better if we stop. But if I turn in one direction, you'll see that the rear wheels really do turn slightly in the opposite direction of the front wheels, simply to make steering this car easier at low speeds. It's cool. A few other models in the game may have this system, but it's rare. And finally, you should know that the Group 4 Nissan Silvia 2, the Silvia touring car, is the only race car in Group 4, Group 3, and so on that has a horn. Well, I don't know why, but that's how it is. If there's a particular reason and you know it, leave it in the comments. And if you know of other cars in Gran Turismo 7 that have unique features like this, go ahead and mention them in the comments too. I have to admit, I love doing this kind of thing, discovering all sorts of little hidden details like that. I really enjoy doing this kind of thing in videos, so don't hesitate. And remember, I regularly stream Gran Turismo 7 on my Twitch channel. You can come follow me through the link that will be in the comments and pinned, and of course you can also use my instant gaming link, which you'll find below this video, which lets you buy your games for less while giving a little support to my channel. See you very soon for a new video. Ciao.